into the 1-mile Phoenix Oval. Then add some 50 thundering street stock race cars, all trying to bump and shove their way to the front. And you have the recipe for some red-hot action. From Phoenix International Raceway, it's round 3 of the Motorola Cup, presented by NEWTECH Group International. And it's brought to you by Motorola, web without wires. By Derringer, complete international logistics solutions. And by Hoosier, tires designed for champions. Hi, I'm Jim Martin, and welcome to Phoenix International Raceway for round 3 of the Motorola Cup. Huge field on the first of 2 pace laps. Working with me once again is Terry Earwood, who, among other things, is the chief instructor for the Skip Barber Racing School. What do you look for here today, Terry?
Phoenix is going to be a tough track. It's got this great high-speed oval, but when we dive in the infield, it's like the world's fastest, longest autocross, except they use race cars instead of pylons. Plus, it's 90 degrees out here. Big taxing on the driver and the car. We come down the front straightaway and dive into the infield just at pit out. We're running 4th gear, braking and turning. It's a blind apex. You're looking left, looking left, looking left, grabbing back into 2nd gear if you're in traffic here. And now we start the twisty part of the racetrack. You have to avoid these curbs on the inside. They really can knock the car out of alignment. Plus, if you drop a wheel off here, it brings gravel and dirt back up onto the racetrack, and it's pretty easy to cut a tire down. Very slick in this part of the racetrack as we get ready to come back up on toward the oval. Once we're on the oval, we're in NASCAR turn 3 and 4. You can almost run flat out through here. You can on a small car, but not a Super Grand Sports car. You stare at the wall at the outside edge, you just can't hit it.
And now our Speed Stick fastest qualifiers. The front row of the field. In Super Grand Sport, we've got Heinrichs and Hayner in their Corvette. Hobst and Pilgrim in another one, and Goad and Powell in a 3rd Corvette.
Sitting on the pole in Grand Sports, it's Porsche, Wartzman, McCalmont, and Law, followed by the Firebird of Hayner, Weinberg, Aqualante, and 3rd, Mustang, Jamison, McGovern.
In the sport touring class today, we've got the father and son Trass in a BMW Z3. It's Liebengood and Lally in another BMW, and Patch and Plum in an Audi A4.
C2K shows us a pair of brothers, 2nd-generation Nanamakers on the pole. Hebert, Craig are 2nd, Phillips, Bonacorsi round out the top 3.
It's a beautiful day, and we're getting ready for a fabulous race. We'll be back with more from Phoenix in just a moment.
Where are you, Billy? Driver.
You need a driver? 10th hole, please.
Dad lost his hair early. When I started losing mine, I checked it out with a dermatologist, and he said Rogaine. It's 2 years later now, and I don't see any difference. Doc was right. You can keep the hair you have with Rogaine.
Welcome back to Phoenix for the Motorola Cup. Some of the race facts. It's going to be 3 hours long. There's at least 2 drivers per car. 1, maybe 2 pit stops. 4 different classes out here. And up front, we've got the Corvettes of John Heinrichs and Andy Pilgrim side by side, heading for the start. Behind them, Devin Powell in the yellow Sunoco Corvette, Michael DeFates in the Celine Mustang, Marty Miller's Corvette, and David Amick's Viper. In behind them, the green flag flies, and we are underway as the field spreads out just a little bit, heading down the front straightaway. And right up front, John Heinrichs in the black and yellow Chevy Corvette, the 37 car, leads the field into the first turn as Devin Pell in the 11 Corvette jumps into second place, and Pilgrim is third.
Here comes the Viper of David Amick around the outside. He has to pop over this inside curb to make this pass work. This is not a 4-lane racetrack in here. They act like it. Now we come down to the very twisty part of the racetrack, the very first hard braking corner. It's an infield hairpin turn where you're actually turning left, you stab the brakes and toss it to the right. We'll see a lot of cars getting loose here all day long.
It's a busy place as well as the field is gradually spreading out. Heinrichs leads Powell.
This is the hardest corner on the track. It's a hairpin coming onto the oval. It's the most important corner because a good shot out of here gets us a good shot through NASCAR 3 and 4. Here comes the Viper inside the Mustang for a 4th spot.
As the field heads toward 3 and 4, we've got Heinrichs leading Powell as we ride on board with Mike DeFatis as well. Another pass in front of us, too. It's Marty Miller going by Andy Pilgrim for a 3rd spot in the 98 vet.
Coming onto the front bank, and this is so hard to do because it's not quite flat out in these cars. Plus, you've got to feel what kind of traction you have. We see the Viper trying to pop in the 4th spot around Pilgrim, diving into the infield at the end of pit lane.
Dave Amick's Viper moving to the inside and getting by Andy Pilgrim's 08 Chevy Corvette just in front as we continue to ride along with Mike DeFatis around the corner. The race leader, the 37 Chevy Corvette of John Heinrichs, opening up a bit of a gap in front of the 11 vet. Right behind there's Devin Powell in 3rd spot now. Marty Miller's 98 Chevrolet Corvette, and then the Viper and another Corvette and a Mustang, and we've got another dice in our hands.
Here's the number 19 NEWTECH brake Porsche 993. This car is a normally aspirated car this week. Going to be a twin turbo next time we see this race car. We're riding right now with Jean-Francois Dumoulin inside the car.
We find the car a little bit back of the top 10. However, that situation's going to change, I think.
I tell you, he looks mighty comfortable in this car. This car is a great driving car. When they put twin turbos on it, it's going to be a hot ride.
No doubt about it. Another battle out on the race course now as we've got a couple of Corvettes going at it. A battle for 5th. The 30 Peter Tonelli Corvette drives to the inside of Andy Pilgrim. The 08 car moves down a notch.
But Andy pops right back. That's the problem with passing in a hairpin. You have to park the car. Andy almost gets a run on him. Now, he will tuck in on the draft.
He thought about it, but the car falls back 1, maybe 2 car lengths as the 30 Sunoco Corvette takes over that position out on the racetrack as we catch the race leaders one more time. The 37, John Heinrichs, driving a nice smooth race, but he can't seem to shake Devin Pell in that 11 Corvette right behind him. Certainly no more than a couple of car lengths all the entire way around the circuit.
Speaking of shaking loose, you're never straight here. We're on board now with Powell as he tries to weave through traffic. He's running 2nd place. He's trying to keep right behind John. By the same token, these other guys are having a pretty big race. You can't, here we are, we're involved in the C2 case right now. We have a smoking C2K car coming up onto the bank, and we're going to try to tuck inside, and we've lost some valuable ground here because of that slower car.
The number 2 Audi slows out on the race circuit, and it looks as though it might be a terminal event. A day might end early for the number 2 Audi squad.
And he's up on the bank, and he's got a pretty long way to get that car back to the pits and not mess the racetrack up.
Actually doing a great job staying out of everybody's way and trying to point some people around. But, boy, we've got a great battle up front. Here comes Marty Miller. Looks to the inside of Devin Powell coming into turn number 1, but can't quite make the pass and has to jump on the brakes just a touch so that he doesn't contact those 2 cars.
Yeah, a little wiggle under downshifting as he dives the car off into the infield here. 1, 2, 3 right there, like you can throw a cold, wet blanket over these first 3 cars. This is the twisty part of the racetrack. Like I say, it gets greasier and slicker, and especially as guys drop wheels off the side of the racetrack. Here comes Powell trying to work traffic as hard as Heinrichs can, but John is a master at this.
He certainly has to be with the Motorola Cup. 4 different classes of cars and 4 different speed potentials, and it looks as though the race leaders are getting through us. We've got another car off the racetrack. One of the BMW Z3s has fallen off.
And a lot of times it's actually a better grip out there than it is on the track later in the day.
and no doubt he'll bring a little bit of it out onto the racing surface and make that interesting for the balance of the field, too. Hopefully no one else will have a problem as we catch the race leaders again. Still John Heinrichs out front as we ride along with Devin Powell in the 11 Powell Motorsports Chevy Corvette down the front straightaway.
Heinrichs pops around our Sport Touring leader right now, Howie Liebengood, as we dive into the infield off of turn 1. That sort of boxes up Powell.
Actually, it makes things a little interesting for him as he is trying to stay in front of the 98 Chevy Corvette right behind, but he's doing a pretty fair job. But we've got a car crashed on the front straightaway.
This is a big hit. This is coming on to NASCAR 4 onto the front straightaway. This is what you're always so concerned of because it's not quite flat out. And if you touch another car here, it's total loss of control. I hope the driver's okay.
Yellow flags around the race circuit as the pace slows. The 31 Porsche along the front straightaway has brought the safety crews to the rescue. Pat DiGiovanni is the driver involved, and momentarily we'll find out. Actually, from the look of things, Pat is all right from the communication going on beside that automobile. The yellow Chevy Corvette leads the crowd around. Pat is definitely out of the car, and he's okay, which is great to hear.
We have a replay from inside the Jocelyn Hebert Hyundai. As we come onto the front straight, we're going to see the debris. The crash has just happened. The Porsche is in the wall to our right. We pop down to the left to avoid some of this debris. Unfortunately, we're worried about, boy, can we cut a tire down here? Now, as we come through the smoke, we see another car off to the left. So this was a two-car crash. The Porsche didn't hit the wall by himself.
No, and the safety crew certainly has their work cut out for them, not only keeping everybody away from as much debris as they possibly can, but cleaning the racetrack. This will be a few moments as they haul away that number 31 Porsche, and boy, the crew's got a lot of work to try to put that one back together.
Big sign on the back says, on the edge performance. He's on the edge of the tow truck.
Rerouting the field through the pit lane, our Derringer leaderboard in Super Grand Sport, all Corvettes out front, Hayter and Heinrichs in the 1. We got Goad and Powell in the 2nd car, Cox and Miller in the 3rd.
In Grand Sports, we have a Ford leading. Jamison McGovern leads the Wurtzman McCulloch Law Porsche, and another Mustang, Brown and Schraenen are 3rd.
In Sport Touring, Liebengood and Lally in a BMW. We've got Moser and Van Sicklen's Acura, and Trask in the Z3.
C2K sees a Hyundai up front with Cullen and Craig. Johnson Halsmer 2nd, the Honda, and Phillips Bonacarsi in the Mazda Miata.
We'll give the cleanup crew just a second, and we'll be back with more action from Phoenix right after this.
Now there's a sedan that makes all other sedans feel inadequate. With an ultra-spacious cabin, sophisticated engineering, a powerful engine, and bold new European design. Introducing the all-new 2001 Elantra from Hyundai. It sets the standard for what a great-looking sedan should be. The all-new Elantra. Driving is believing.
Never once did your car ask you for jewelry or flowers. Never once did it ask you if it looks fat, or did it get mad at you for leaving the seat up. Your car always gives you exactly what you want. Doesn't it deserve something special in return?
The new Boxster S. Even heaven has its moments of hell.
Some networks will put a camera on the car, inside the car, next to the car, but the Speedvision GT and Touring Car Championships are taking it to the next level. We're putting cameras everywhere. Tires, carbs, gear shift, helmet, everything. We're dropping in some of the greatest road racers in the world, like Derek Bell. We'll wire them up so they can tell you how the race is going. The Speedvision GT and Touring Car Championships, right from the driver's seat. This time, you ride shotgun. Sunday, see Porsches, Benz, BMWs, and Audis go bumper to bumper for the 2000 championships live.
Welcome back to Phoenix International Raceway. We're heading for the restart. This is lap 21, and we've got a green flag. Devin Powell chases the black 37 Corvette. We've got John Heinrichs out front. Right behind them, watching it go on, is the 98 of Marty Miller, another one of the Corvettes. They run 1, 2, and 3 into corner number 1.
John with the protective line down on the inside so he can protect that apex, because through the twisty stuff, these guys can't pass in here.
The top 3 doing battle with each other. Actually, maybe it was the slow way around the racetrack, and they might give away to people like Peter Tonelli and the 30 Corvette running in 4th. 5th place, David Amick and the Viper.
Yeah, this will stack all 5 cars up right here. John goes wide in this first hairpin turn. It's a little greasy there. Gives him a pretty good shot through the little twisty S's. Now, you come up to the hairpin turn, you got to park the car. This is 2nd gear. It is so tight coming on here, but a lot of guys will try to dive inside. Really hurts the radius, really hurts the exit speed. Here, they're single file. This is the fastest way out of this corner.
It'll definitely be an interesting place over the balance of the day to see who tries to pass somebody coming into that corner and then gives it away at the exit, because they can't carry any speed the other way. Now, a bit of a battle developing between the 2nd and 3rd place Corvettes. It appears as though Devin Powell and the yellow 11 car may be falling off the race lead just a little bit. However, right behind him, the 98 Corvette, Marty Miller, looks to the inside, coming into corner number 1. This time can make the pass, but he has certainly got Devin Powell's attention.
Yeah, he's still on the inside here trying to get to that apex down here inside of turn 2. Powell's going to have to tuck in behind him. This is not a 2-lane racetrack. So a very good move from Miller. He sort of faked the pass there in turn 1 and made it happen in turn 2. As we come down to this big high-speed hairpin, they got to jam the brakes on. Powell could tuck back inside.
It'll be interesting as we ride along with Devin Powell in the Powell Motorsport entry. Now he's right on the back bumper of the car out front. This is the battle for second place. Out front, there's a black Corvette, which is probably enjoying the sight in his rearview mirror.
Every time these guys are passing each other, they're slowing each other down. So Heinrichs gets a little more room every time they get side by side.
The two yellow Corvettes now running 3rd and 4th, respectively, behind Marty Miller's red and white machine. The 98 Corvette opens up just a little bit at the exit of that hairpin.
Here's our battle in Grand Sports. Our leader, Mike McGovern. He's trying to hold off his Porsche of Al Wertzman. But the Porsche, a little quicker in the infield, the twisty stuff, the Mustang shows its muscle once we get it back up onto the banking. But the Porsche right here, he's able to stay inside this hairpin corner. He's got a tighter radius. He's actually going to get a pretty good runoff here. Now, the Mustang is concerned about the super touring car. The BMW is in his way. He tracks out. He has to pinch the car back. The Porsche is going to gain some. As we get into lap traffic, this is what you dread, is can he get through the traffic faster than me? Porsche is going to look on the inside. Is this going to happen? He's taking a shortcut to the apex. As we do come to the bank, he is right there on the Mustang, Jim.
Boy, it's really, really tight in Howie Liebengood in the 49, the yellow BMW in the midst of that dice. Really doing a great job. And we've got a car sideways and off the track.
Yeah, that's the Celine Mustang is turned around on the infield. Like I said, this is, oh my, we've have a little toe-out problem here.
Mike DeFonta's Celine Mustang with a front suspension problem.
Let's take a look at the replay. He has had a coming together. This is the second hit with a Porsche 944. You can see that left front wheel. The tie rod's already broken. It's already popped out. He takes a shortcut. The Porsche looks like he got the better end of this deal.
A little body work on the Porsche exchanged for a steering arm, and the Celine Mustang, the 44 car, one of the prettiest machines in the Motorola Cup, with an obvious mechanical problem. He'll be stopping in along pit lane to see if they can do something about that.
That crash will move the number 19 Porsche up to 8th place in class. His co-driver is going to be Richard Spenard, by the way.
Richard Spenard, alias King Richard, up in Canada. Two of the finest racing drivers from that piece of the world in the soon-to-be turbocharged Super Grand Sport number 19 Porsche down the back straightaway now. The race leaders. Life is becoming interesting as they're going around some of the Super Grand Sport cars, which are still on the same lap so far, just in front of the 94 Corvette. Scotty White just in front of the race-leading number 37 Chevy. John Heinrichs spins the car in front of the race leaders. Now, both the Corvettes go side by side. We've got a great battle out front now because of the 94 Corvette.
Yeah, Scotty trying to stay on the lead lap. Did not want to go a lap down. He's trying to dodge that Z3 car in the meantime. Now, side by side on the banking. This is just like NASCAR. This is like you see. I love this action, but you can't run two cars side by side. Yeah, the Corvette on the inside. Miller gets sideways. What a beautiful catch. I think the 37 car helped him catch that.
Boy, if there wasn't a touch there, it's amazing how gentle it was. John Heinrichs, the 37 car, still the race leader. Let's look at that one again. That was close.
Coming through the banking onto the front straightaway, down on the inside. Marty has to pinch the car down a little bit. The front end takes a bite. The rear end steps out. He corrects it, and now he corrects it almost into the Corvette. Not sure they touch, but what a beautiful, like I said earlier, wonderful catch. That's why these guys drive Super Grand Sports cars, because they're super drivers.
Incredible piece of driving by everybody involved. John Heinrichs saying thanks very much for getting away with that one. Heinrichs, the 37 car, still on front. And Marty Miller in the 98 Corvette is running in second spot and has given up a bunch of real estate, but not the fight.
Speaking of fights, we know that there are 4 fights out here, 4 different classes. Let's take a ride with Pete Halsburn, our C2K class leader right now, coming down the front straightaway. But on the inside, a new leader, that's Gord Cullen in his Hyundai. He passes for the lead. This is first and second C2K coming into the infield. Halsburn, he's run any kind of car, every kind of car in the world. He's hanging right on this Canadian car.
Hey, Gord Cullen doing a nice, polite job signaling his left-hand turn a minute ago. A battle for third place coming out of the front straightaway, and we've got a Z3 BMW in the middle of it. On the outside goes the 11 Corvette. The 50 Viper of Dave Amick drives to the inside and steals away the spot from Devin Powell. Must be pretty tense coming down the front straightaway for the BMW driver.
Jim, this is a scary place to make that move because it's like a one-groove racetrack. We'll take a look at this again as the Viper leads into the infield. Coming through the banking. The Corvette goes to outside the Z3. Amick decides to guess on the inside. If I tuck inside this Z3, maybe I can drag race this Corvette because turn 1's a left-hand turn. If I can get down here first, I'm going to have the apex. I'm going to lead through the infield. And he guesses right. With that V10 horsepower at the stripe, he's down into the infield first. You know, driving a race car half the time is either just a golden opportunity or just a calculated guess. And this time, both of them work.
There's nothing wrong with being a little bit lucky, especially here. We've got a great race going on in C2K. A little further back in the field, the Hyundai Tiburon Gord Cullen locks up a wheel. Driving to the inside is Pete Hulsver, and he leads C2K one more time.
And again, here's our golden opportunity as Cullen makes a teeny mistake and Hulsver capitalizes on it. So now he goes back into the lead as we head to the left-hand hairpin in that beautiful little Hart Civic Honda. Now, Pete jumps on the brakes, drops it back into second gear, turns in for the hairpin. You got to be careful you don't track out too far because the wall is right here. On the inside, here comes a Z3 BMW. But look, right behind him, Gord has taken that spot. He's used the faster class car to pass.
Out front, John Heinrichs in the 37 Vet, still the race leader, and has gone pretty much unchallenged since the close call coming out of the front straightaway a few moments ago. The 98 Marty Miller Chevy Corvette still runs in second spot. The two combatants, although separated by a little bit, still running very, very strongly, and Marty Miller's day isn't quite finished yet, as no doubt he's trying to close that gap. Third place, the number 50 Viper. AMEC Racing's done a great job with these automobiles, as witnessed by their last win overall at Sebring in Super Grand Sport. Now, driver David AMEC and his team have a really special hands-on racing club, a real special rooting section here in Phoenix as part of their Grant a Wish Foundation pledge. As they watch David trying to hold off that 11 Chevy Corvette right behind, they've got lots to cheer for, and they're a great bunch of people that we've had the opportunity to fall in love with.
I've been wanting to do something with kids that have life-threatening illnesses for a long time, and I called up Grant a Wish, and instantly they were responsive to the program that I wanted to do. And together with Brian Morrison and Marianne Davis, we've been able to create a program which we call Hands-On Racing, that we bring the kids to the track, and we paint their hands, and they put their handprints on our car, and instantly, you know, we try to make them a part of our crew, make them feel like that they're welcome and they have a good time, and those handprints on our car represent their involvement, and the kids deserve the podium. You know, if any possible way, I want to give them a place up there, you know, and I want them to see their team up there, and it makes their trip, makes it that much more special for them.
To find out how you can participate, call 1-800-933-5470 or check out grantawish.org on the World Wide Web. We'll be back with more racing from Phoenix in just a moment.
How does it feel? Now, for the first time ever, the essential Bob Dylan. The only hits collection to span Bob Dylan's entire career. 30 of his most essential songs on 2 CDs for a limited time.
Lord knows I paid some dues getting through. Tangled up in blue. All along the watchtower, princes kept the view. Here's the story of the hurricane. The many authorities came to play. The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind.
The essential Bob Dylan. Call now for this limited time offer. The essential Bob Dylan. The most essential journey you'll ever take.
Give me my phone. I want to check my email.
No.
Give it to me.
No.
Give me my phone.
No. No.
Thursdays get vertical on OLN with Warren Miller's Global Adventure. Travel to untracked snow in Antarctica and to one of the few skiable glaciers in Africa. Vertical Thursdays, 8 p.m. only on OLN.
Welcome back to the Motorola Cup from Phoenix. Fourth place, number 11, Devin Powell, the first of the leaders to come in for routine servicing and fuel. Powell out, Goad gets in. Doug Goad, now the driver. Now all filled up with Sunoco Ethanol Enhanced Ultra 94, the official fuel of the Motorola Cup, and already underway. It's a good stop, 1 minute flat, but this will drop them to 7th position. The race leader, the 37 John Heinrichs Chevy Corvette.
Coming down the front straightaway here, back into the infield. John is not pitted yet. So he's about the end of his fuel mileage and tire mileage as we look at the car going into turn 1 here. See the rear end step out already. This track gets very greasy as it gets hot. Plus, at the, about an hour onto the tires, they do begin to slide a little bit because of the heat.
Tires beginning to be a bit of a challenge as far as the race leadership is concerned, as we'll keep an eye on everybody circulating the course now through turn number 1. The 50 Viper in 3rd position.
And you can see David just sort of nursing the car right here as his car begins to move around a little bit. 450 horsepower. You've got to be polite with it anyway. And when the track gets greasy, you've got to be politer still, like driving on ice instead of bias-ply tires. Now, Heinrici has gone off the racetrack for some reason, or he's coming back onto the racetrack down in the first hairpin. Let's see if we can get a replay to find out why he did that. A pretty rare mistake. It takes 2 to tango.
Yeah, the number 94 Chevy Corvette apparently has had something to do with this. Falls off the race course as well.
Yeah, let's go inside the number 6 Hyundai here to see if we can see what happened. John is coming up on the 94 car right now to put him another lap down. John tucks inside, but the 94 doesn't quite see him. John has to lock the front tires up, taps the 94 Corvette. They both go around as the number 6 car is trying to do a way outside evasive maneuver. John gets back on the track first. 94 sort of fumbling for a gear here in the infield.
John Heinrici doing a great job not to get involved in that little melee, as we've got a real close battle now up front. Heinrici's back out on the racetrack, but he comes out just in front of the 98 of Marty Miller. Those two cars side by side as they enter the oval.
Marty catches him because of the mistake in the infield, and here goes a brand new leader as we head to NASCAR turn 4 down the front straightaway.
The new leader, the 98 Chevy Corvette of Marty Miller, finds himself out front after trying and trying and trying, takes an advantage of a little bit of a bobble as far as John Heinrici got involved in a little altercation about half a lap back.
Yeah, and that's a problem with lap traffic. You're always concerned about, boy, if they don't see me, it can cause a big mistake. Marty Miller ready to capitalize on that. You know, Marty grew up under John. He drove with Joe Aquilini for years, and therefore he's got a full playbook. So the minute John gets in a problem, Marty's right there. Marty driving Reese Cox in this car. Reese, you know, is over from the Speedvision Cup Series.
And doing a tremendous job as he's holding off that 37 vet. Very, very closely matched automobiles. This is literally a matter of driving skill, the difference between first and second out on the racetrack here in Phoenix today.
Yeah, and Marty's come so far, you know, because he just was hanging on with these guys about 4 years ago, and now he's leading this race. Now, John's going to take a look coming up to the hairpin turn, but he knows that parks both cars. When you overslow the cars, there's still a third-place car back here somewhere if they start fighting each other.
Out front, we've got Marty Miller. John Heinrici, the 37, runs in second. Now we can take a look at the third place, number 50 Dodge Viper, Dave Amick, leading the 11 Chevy Corvette now with Doug Goad aboard.
Coming off the infield hairpin, Dave Amick touches the gas. 450 horsepower, 480 foot-pounds of torque just by touching the gas. It slaps sideways. You've got to be real careful when you're out of tire.
The 37 Aquilani Corvette comes in for a change of tires, and there'll be a new driver, too. Matter of fact, John Heinrici gets out. Stu Hainer will take over when it leaves pit lane.
Pit stop a little bit longer here than the number 11 Corvette, and these are under green flags. Every second is about 4 car lengths out on that racetrack.
The race leader, Marty Miller, is yet to make a pit stop, but he's going to soon. I just know it. Today's race is being brought to you by Sunoco Ethanol-Enhanced Ultra 94, the official fuel of the Motorola Cup. The racing continues from Phoenix, round number 3 of the Motorola Cup in just a moment.
In auto racing, teamwork is the key to a winning strategy. Deringer's Logistics Solutions team is there to provide the same level of commitment to your international shipping needs. Global freight forwarding experts assure rapid transportation of your merchandise. Our customs brokerage service gets your goods through quickly and efficiently. And warehousing distribution experts see to a trouble-free delivery of your products. Deringer is committed to making you a successful and winning partner. For more information, call 1-800-448-8108.
Sunday morning, rip the waves with the Fountain 65. Then at high speeds on the open sea with the Lightning 51. And learn all about electrical distribution on ShipShape TV. That's Powerboat Show at 10 Eastern, Maxima Marine at 10:30, and ShipShape TV at 11.
Here we are back at Phoenix for the Motorola Cup. The 98 Marty Miller Chevy Corvette leads But it's going to come up real soon on pit stop time, and we've seen all sorts of people running to the end of their tire expectancy, and things have been getting a little bit slippery as a result.
Yeah, as the track gets hot, it gets greasy. These cars are on the bottom of their fuel load, which means the rear ends are light. They're spinning the tires so much easier. Here comes a drag race for 6th place up on the banking.
The early leader, the 37, that's Stu Hayner, now aboard, challenging the 30 of Peter Tonelli, the 08 Andy Pilgrim Corvette, too. He's in 3rd spot out in the racetrack as, boy, there's action all over.
Yeah, you've got to question the strategy here because a lot of cars came in early, yet the Viper and our leading Corvette are still out there on the bottom end of their tires.
Now, a little bit further back, Hayner challenges Pete Tonelli, looking for a pass, driving to the inside. The battle goes on, and just at the last moment, it looks as though Peter Tonelli decided he didn't want to run over that rumble strip and let him have the spot.
Okay, our leader in the sports touring class, the number 24 Keravich Colletti Acura, he's being lapped by the overall leader, number 98. Now, let's take a look. He just inherited this lead. Let's see how he got around the number 49 car of the Liebengood's BMW. We're inside the BMW coming to the hairpin. The Acura just comes sliding up inside us and traps us off the apex. But the Acura goes all the way to the wall, gets a better radius, which gives a better shot down this long banking. Now, listen to the feather back of the throttle a little bit. These guys cannot run flat out through this corner and not hit something.
And now the Grand Sport leaders in the pits, the 17, which is the McGovern and Jamison Zippo Mustang, giving the lead to their teammates, the 74 car of David Brown and John Schraenen. That takes over the lead in Grand Sport. The Zippo team doing pretty well today.
We see Joe Varde buckling in the Viper. David Amick hops out. Varde has his little seat insert. Varde's about a couple of feet shorter than David as they do. This car does a good job of pit stops.
Having a good day today. We're watching out for our race leader now in long pit lane and coming to a stop. Marty Miller will get out. Reese Cox is going to take his place. And it looks as though this stop may take a little while. The driver change itself really isn't that long. However, they're having to do a lot of homework to change those tires.
That turns our lead over to Andy Pilgrim, but he has yet to stop.
Still in long pit lane, that 98 car is taking exceptionally long, and boy, this must be hard to be a part of.
Yeah, to go from leading, he's going to go back at least. He'd be lucky to be in the top 10.
The leader once again now, Andy Pilgrim, has yet to stop. Doug Goad is in 2nd place, and that's the 11, the yellow Sunoco Chevrolet Corvette.
Yeah, just about all the cars have come in except this leader here. Hopefully he'll have a better stop than the other guys.
Boy, doing a great job on what must be well-worn tires. The 2nd place car down the front straightaway down, that number 11 Corvette. And bending the car to the left and entering the first turn without too many problems, getting around a whole bunch of people in front. And we've got a car going around.
M3 BMW in a hairpin turn as he goes back to full throttle about 19 times trying to figure out which way to go with this car. Finally gets out of the gas, calms it down. But boy, talk about a moving chicane.
As a matter of fact, the 43 Corvette, one of the Nunamakers has to dive into the dirt to avoid that situation altogether. And the track's getting slippery everywhere as the top side of the race circuit sees the number 16, Wertzman, McElmott, and Law. Grand Sport Porsche go around 2.
Yeah, I see some debris on the track. This is the hairpin turn coming onto the banking as he tries to nurse the car back to the pits. Here's our leader, the 08 Pilgrim car. Still has not pitted yet. And our earlier leader, he's coming in with a cut-down tire. He might have gotten some of that debris up there where the Porsche went off.
Reese Cox in the 98 Chevy Corvette comes in for a 2nd time. The first pit stop wasn't all that fast, and they've got to do some more work.
Here's Varde working traffic as he does best. Coming up to the hairpin turn inside the 30 Corvette as he tries to work his way back up to the front.
The battle for 4th continues. Craig Conway in the 30 Corvette has found himself going even further back as he lights up the tires coming out of the corner trying to keep pace, but it does just the opposite for him. The 50 Viper moves into 3rd spot.
But Conway with a big run coming down the front straightaway. Varde's actually stacked up behind the C2K car momentarily. He has to lift, and Conway with a big run down the front straight. He uses the draft, he uses the run. It's a left-hand turn, turn 1. The Corvette's going to take the point.
Does a great job. He might have lit up a tire there, but it got the job done. The 30 Corvette takes away the position from the number 50 Dodge Viper in one of the better battles out on the racetrack, a little bit further back from the race leaders now.
Varde's going to tuck right in behind him as we go through the infield. Again, we have a full course yellow. There's debris on the track back in the hairpin turn. They're going to slow the field down to go clean that mess up. That's where the Porsche spun off, and we cut that tire down on the 98 car.
exactly why we brought out a full course yellow so the safety crew can go out and make sure that doesn't happen again. And now under yellow, what a great time for a pit stop. The 08 Chevy Corvette. Andy Pilgrim decides to stop and get the servicing done while everybody else slows down. Now the 11 Doug Goad Corvette will take over the lead. The Viper will be in second place.
But the 11 cars in the pits, he had already pitted. We've had a driver change, we've had tires, we've had fuel. I don't understand why this car's back in the pits.
On the other side of the coin, it means the 50 Viper with Joe Varde takes over the lead.
So the 11 car's going to have fresh tires and fresh gas, but track position to me here at Phoenix is everything. He's lost 6 or 7 spots.
Doug Goad will be put to the test in a moment. The restart's next.
Here's another breakthrough from Craftsman. It's the CLENCH wrench, available only from Sears. All jobs become easier when you have the right tool. With the Craftsman CLENCH wrench, the harder you pull, the tighter it grips. As you apply more pressure to the handle, the pivoting jaw holds the bolt tighter and tighter. The CLENCH wrench automatically self-adjusts to 15 popular standard and metric size nuts and bolts, so there's no guesswork. At $19.99, the Craftsman CLENCH wrench is a real value. With its spring-loaded jaw and easy-open thumb lever, the CLENCH wrench is a snap to use. Once in place, it's self-ratcheting. Just swing the handle back and it automatically resets. You don't have to remove and reposition it after each turn. You only need one tool for dozens of household and automotive projects.
Sears, the good life at a great price. Guaranteed.
Have your Sears or other credit card ready and call 1-800-793-7733 to order your Craftsman CLENCH wrench for only $19.99 plus shipping and handling. Call now.
There's a Lifestyles condom just right for you no matter what your style. Lubricated, plain, and simple. Form-fitting for a snugger fit. Ultra-sensitive because thin is in. Oops. Spermicidally lubricated. You can never be too careful. Assorted colors, well, you know. Studded for that extra ooh la la. Large for extra comfort. Ribbed for good vibrations. And finally, extra pleasure for super sensation. No matter what your style, there's a Lifestyles condom just right for you.
When it comes to choosing the right motor oil, let's make something perfectly clear. Introducing 3 new oils from Quaker State, specially formulated for the vehicle you drive. Synthetic blends for hard-working engines and high-horsepower engines. A full synthetic for ultimate engine protection. Extra filtered with patented micro-Q filtration to ensure your oil starts clean for a difference you can see and trust. So when it comes to protecting your vehicle, why take a chance? Quaker State. The choice is clear.
Welcome back to the Motorola Cup from Phoenix International Raceway. We're all set for the restart. The overall leader, Joe Varde, and his Viper finds himself in the middle of this field. The 08 Corvette is second. The 37 machine of Stu Hainer is third. The Viper leading the way, trying to get around the number 8 C2K leader, which is the Hyundai Tiburon.
As he does into the infield, he's stuck back here in lap traffic because of where the pace car picked the field up at. So Varde's got to work traffic. C2K, he's still trying to protect his position.
Now the Viper leads. Varde working his way through the busy traffic through this tight infield here at Phoenix. He's really got a handful on.
But there aren't many people better than that. Joe Varde can work traffic like ringing a bell.
Joe Varde certainly knows how to get the job done. He's moved up a couple notches already, and he's only 2 turns into the racetrack. Looks to the inside, and we've got a car spinning, the 98 Chevy Corvette.
Continues to have problems. This car led the race earlier with Marty Miller and Reese Cox. Now it's cut down another tire.
Reese Cox has to go in along pit lane and, well, set the crew to work one more time. They've got a lot of experience changing tires today, anyhow.
Side-by-side action, the 08 of Randy Post and Stu Hainer. Corvette's a pair as we come into the hairpin turn. Hainer, the apex on the inside. Randy with the radius on the run on the outside. It's a drag race. Randy, big radius, bigger speed.
As you mentioned earlier, the 08 Chevy Corvette takes to the outside, which is a faster way around that piece of the racetrack, and another car. The number 14 Porsche of Valentini and Brown has spun on the circuit. Now, as we get pretty close to the halfway mark here, let's take a look at our class leaders. In Super Grand Sport, the 50 Viper of Amick and Varde. In Grand Sport, the Mustang with Brown and Schraenen aboard. And in Sport Touring, the BMW of Liebengood and LALLY.
Here are 2 class leaders, both Grand Sports and Sport Touring, battling side-by-side for position. The BMW takes the tighter radius. It corners better, but here comes that big V8 muscle up on the banking.
Now we see the difference actually between the 2 different classes, very close as far as the corners, but once they get out in the straights, well, the Grand Sport car is a little quicker than the Sport Touring machinery.
A lot quicker here through the bank, and he has to feather a little bit. The BMW tucks back up under him somewhat. Now we go on board with our C2K leader, the number 8 Hyundai of Cullen and Craig.
And once again, we catch up to the folks that are second and third, and there's a good battle going on here to the inside. Stu Hayner looks inside the 08 Randy Pope's Corvette, takes over the spot. Does somebody have an advantage coming out of the corner? That will be interesting. Stu Hayner passes Randy Pope's in a car going around the number 30 machine of Craig Conway.
From Daytona Beach, Florida, Conway turns the Sunoco Corvette around, but usually that indicates a tire problem when you spin right there. He knows he's got a problem. He locks the brakes. He comes right back and takes a shortcut to the pits. I'm not sure you're supposed to do that.
And the safety car begins to roll. We're going to have a full course caution around the race circuit as the 67 Honda of Keel and Kinnett has stopped out on the circuit. The race leader at this point, now under full course yellow, is the 50 Joe Varde Dodge Viper. The 67 Honda sits and the driver waits patiently for the safety crew to arrive. We'll be back with more racing in a moment from Phoenix International Raceway.
Brown, Kansas, Dobie Gillis Fish Tank.
The party's changed to 7?
Dad lost his hair early. When I started losing mine, I checked it out with a dermatologist, and he said Rogaine. It's 2 years later now, and I don't see any difference. Doc was right. You can keep the hair you have with Rogaine.
To get around these parts, they say you need dogs. Good thing I got my Subaru Outback. It's got loads of cargo space, toasty seat warmers, and something you won't find on your average sport utility. The added traction of full-time all-wheel drive. It's the perfect way to get around, even when you're way out here. Now, as for the dogs, they're not much help if you ask me. Outback, the world's first sport utility wagon.
It's the true story of a woman who manhandled hot rods and hot rodders and pissed off guys like these.
I don't think she really cared.
Watch the gender barrier explode. Heart Like a Wheel, tonight, 11 Eastern, 8 Pacific, only on Speedvision.
You know, Motorola's involvement in this great racing series goes far deeper than just being the title sponsor. In fact, many of the street stock cars racing here today use Motorola components to provide key onboard functions. In this week's Motorola Minute, we look at the Mustang Cobra R. The Ford SVT boys have come up with quite a package for the 2001 Mustang Cobra R. It begins with a 5.4-liter, 32-valve, twin overhead camshaft V8 that produces a whopping 385 horsepower at 6,250 RPMs. Coupled with a 6-speed gearbox, that translates to 0 to 60 in 4.9 seconds, with a top speed of over 170 miles an hour. But this SVT Cobra R is more than raw power, for it also boasts a very sophisticated suspension, along with huge 18-inch wheels and Z-rated tires, which allow it to pull more than one lateral G on the skid pad. The bad news is they only plan to produce 300 of these hot rods next year, so you better get your order in early.
In addition, all of the teams in the Motorola Cup Series use Motorola wireless communications to relay critical information to and from the pits during the race. To find out more, check out Motorola.com on the World Wide Web. Everybody's almost set for the restart. The Viper of Joe Varde leads. Second will be Stu Hayner's Corvette. Third is Randy Pope's in the blue Corvette, number 08. The green flag comes out, and we are underway, and we got reports over the net that somebody's jumped the gun, maybe Randy Pope's.
Yeah, the blue 08 of Randy Pope's, we've heard, has popped out in front of the 37 car before the flag drop. He may get a stop and go.
Now, Joe Varde leads the way, and he looks like he's got a real clean start, and as a matter of fact, has about a half-dozen car length lead on everybody else as he goes through the twisty parts of the race circuit.
Two major things. Varde has a clean track in front of him, plus there was lap traffic between he and the Corvettes behind him. So he's got some cushion right here that he can just expound on. As we look back for second and third place, Randy Pope, Stu Hainer trying to Stu doesn't know yet that Randy has jumped this start. So Stu's trying to get back around the 08 car as quickly as he can.
Both of them do a tremendous job to get inside one of the C2K Hyundais, and now they come toward the horseshoe, and we've got a car that's spun out on the circuit.
Zippo Mustang is turned around or been turned around as we come into the infield here. Probably going to replay in a minute, but what happens is you have so many cars trying to get in such a small place, he's going to lose about a dozen spots on the racetrack.
The 17 Zippo Mustang back underway, and we've got a view as Stu Hainer tries to chase down Randy Popes in the 08, the blue Chevy Corvette down the front straightaway.
On the front straight, though, we look up at the start box, and we see the black flag displayed for Randy Popes because he did jump that restart.
And we've got a crash car, the same 17 Zippo Ford Mustang. The Jamison McGovern car has stopped after some hard contact with the wall.
I didn't think a bump was that bad the first time.
Not at all. This is a new one altogether.
Well, let's see if we can tell what happened. We're inside Lance Stewart's car. We're chasing a number 17 Mustang. As we come off the bank and into turn one, Lance looks inside. There's a tap. There's a second tap. He knocks him out of the way. I bet this Audi gets a brand new front bumper after every race.
Boy, the Audi might get a new bumper. The Mustang needs a whole bunch of work, unfortunately. A full course yellow around the circuit might be a good turn of events for Randy Popes.
No, Randy's got to serve this penalty under green flag conditions. You can't come in under yellow.
Actually turns out to be a tough break for Randy Popes, who must wait patiently while they put that 17 car up on the wrecker. And that's going to leave Joe Varde's Dodge Viper, our race leader. The second place Randy Pope's car is running right behind him out on the track, but that's just a temporary situation. Let's check our Derringer leaderboard on lap number 116. In Super Grand Sport, it's the Amick and Varde Viper. Second place right now, Popes and Pilgrim in the Corvette, and another one for Heinrichsey and Hainer.
In Grand Sports, it's a Mustang, the brown Schraenen car, over Bourassa and Stewart. That's on an Audi. Schraenen and Schraenen drive the Firebird in third place.
In Sport Touring, first place belongs to Keravich and Colletti's Acura. Liebengood and Lally in the BMW, and Moser and Van Sicklen's Acura third.
In C2K, it's a pair of Hyundais split by a Honda. Cullen and Craig lead it. Johnson Hosmer second. Hebert Schraenen third.
In just a minute, more green flag racing from Phoenix.
Ding dong!
Hi there, neighbors. We know you're busy unpacking, so June here's cooked you up a real feast. Turkey meatloaf.
Actually, we're vegetarians.
Both. But don't be silly. Everybody loves meatloaf.
Thanks a lot.
Bye.
Ameritrade, huh? Yeah, we invest online too.
Oh, now this is pretty.
Oh, hey, don't mind us. You know, we only pay 29 bucks a trade.
We only pay $8 a trade.
Honey, we got a couple of tadpoles in our hands.
You see, kids, $8 a trade is all fine and dandy, but what else do you get? You can bet your patootie. Not much.
Not much, except email alerts.
24-hour customer service, free research. But you probably knew that already.
Who are those people?
Oh, I'm Ken.
I'm June. Oh,
We're the Johnsons.
Open a cash account with $500 and get 25 internet equity trades commission-free in the first month. Call 1-800-AMERITRADE. Ameritrade. It's how you get somewhere on Wall Street.
Sunday morning, rip the waves with the Fountain 65, then at high speeds on the open sea with the Lightning 51, and learn all about electrical distribution on ShipShape TV. That's Powerboat Show at 10 Eastern, Maxima Marine at 10:30, and ShipShape TV at 11.
The Sunoco Corvette is a Z06. In street version, it's 385 horsepower, 10.5 to 1 compression ratio. On the street, it's important to use high-test gas for the engines that want it because of detonation. Our only protection, Ultra 94.
I need the consistency of a high-performance gasoline, so I choose only Sunoco Ultra 94.
Sunoco Ultra 94. Race tested, race proven.
Ah, the usual gentleman?
Well, perhaps for Emmett, but I'll be having tea. Well, I'm the designated driver.
Not so quick, friend. I'll be having the tea, as I'm to be the driver.
Deny yourself if you like, but I'll be a driving.
Boxster. What only a Porsche brings to driving.
Welcome back. Our leader, Joe Varde's Viper, heads the field up to the restart. We got a real shootout going in our hands. We've only got 20 laps to go. Varde's Viper leads the way. Right in behind, we got Randy Popst in his 08 Corvette, and Stu Hainer as well as Doug Goad right behind him. But Popst, of course, has to serve that stop-and-go penalty for jumping that last restart before this one.
And that's still going to be a bunch of Corvettes behind Joe Varde. Now, Joe Varde, as we said earlier, he has no traffic in front, so he doesn't even have to look in his rearview mirrors or plan on what's ahead. These guys, every time they go to the brake pedal, they got to look over there. Sure enough, Hainer sticks his nose in. Popes ain't going to let it happen. Even though he's got to come in for the stop, he still doesn't want to lose a spot. Here comes the 11 car.
Up front, everybody driving as quick as they can with one eye on the rearview mirrors. We got a car spun out in the circuit, the 23 BMW. Wolfkill in snow spins one more time, and this time re-enters the track without causing any sort of disruption. A local yellow in turn one, though.
This happens a lot on a restart because you have so many cars trying to get in such a small spot. Side-by-side action, the Corvettes. We see Randy coming in the pits for his stop-and-go penalty. Hainer leads the 11 car. 11 will try to tuck inside turn one. He has a draft running. Here's Randy. All it is a simple stop. He doesn't look over, doesn't argue. He just goes.
He loses a lot of track time, though, and loses touch with the battle between Goad and Hainer just in front of him.
He comes out in 4th place, but like you said, a lot of cars between he and 3rd.
Joe Varde in the Viper trying to pick his way through the crowd, and as you mentioned earlier, Joe Varde does a great job of getting through some of the slower cars out in the circuit. The 22 Corvette slows out on the racetrack. Looks like it's got a flat tire.
Yeah, it's a Mike Culver car. He's cut the left rear down. Now we've got a spin in the first hairpin turn, the infield hairpin. Culver comes in there slowly. Looks like the 98 trying to get around him.
We catch up to the race leader coming down the start-finish line now, as we get a close look at the battle that has suddenly developed for first place as Doug Goad in the 11 Sunoco Corvette has caught up to the race leader, looks to the inside, puts the nose in front. The Corvette and the Viper side by side in a battle for first here at Phoenix.
And a beautiful job, no contact here. 6 cars in a 2-car spot, no contact. Varde backs down, no, he's been passed. Now, look at this run the yellow car has. Varde's trying to tuck inside the Z3 BMW. He's looking at the BMW. He's trying to get by clean on the inside. In the meantime, Goad in the Corvette sees a golden opportunity. Here's a spot. Varde slides wide. Corvette sticks his nose in there, and is going to take that spot.
Doug Goad does a great job of seizing the day, as it were. The opportunity presented itself, and the 11 Corvette took it.
Varde wants right back, though. Goad comes on the inside of the hairpin. Now, watch Joe. He comes a little wide. He's got the inside shot. Now we have a drag race up on the bank.
V8 versus V10. Which one's going to win? Actually, it's a lot closer than most people might think. The Viper, though, puts the nose out front. Joe Varde steals first place back by a couple of feet onto the front straightaway.
And again, on a pretty, you really pucker up through here by yourself, side by side. It's pretty tough. Varde's going to lead down to the infield.
Stu Hainer runs in 3rd spot with the best seat to view this one. He's got these race cars just in front of him, separated by only a matter of inches, and it will be interesting to see whether Stu Hainer can take advantage of any kind of miscue by either one. And we've got a car on pit lane. The 94 Corvette we've seen a couple of times comes in for a green flag stop as we've got a 3-car battle for first.
It's Viper Vet as Hainer sticks his nose inside the Doug Goad car coming up on the oval. Now, Varde loves this. Those cars have to almost park to make that pass, and the Viper, he stretches.
He's made an amazing gain. All of a sudden, there's about 20 car lengths separating Joe Varde and the 50 Viper from the 2 Corvettes battling nose to tail behind him as they enter the front straightaway again.
Yeah, it's going to be a big fight for 2nd place if those guys don't quit battling back there. They've got to run front to rear. Now, the yellow Corvette, he gets stacked up in traffic, so Hainer, he might be able to come back up on Varde.
Stu Hainer with the only guy with a chance as it stands right now, but we've seen the situation change so quickly, there is no telling what's going to happen in the next lap or two. The race leader having to deal with a little bit of traffic drive to the inside and makes it look easy. Joe Varde in traffic. Hey, the guy's got more experience than anybody else, and it shows.
Yeah, Joe works traffic, especially toward the end of the race. I have never seen this guy make a mistake the last 30 minutes of a race. I hope I don't snake bite him. Now, here's our sports touring leader, the ACURA number 24, Michael Keravich, and Steve Colletti. He's about to lap 2nd place in sports touring, the Moser ACURA. That's a father-son team.
Joe Varde goes by the 3rd place in C2K Hyundai, now to the inside, coming onto the straightaway one more time, and there's a little bit of difference in acceleration between the Viper and the Hyundai. The last lap sign comes out for the race leader, Joe Varde, in turn 1.
A familiar place for Varde. He's been out of a car about 4 years. He moved to North Carolina to build Bush engines for Linton Amick, the brother of David. I met Joe when he was building drag race engines for Rusty Gillis. This guy's been a great racer, a good motor builder, and now he's back in the car leading races.
It seems to have all come together, both for the race leader, Joe Varde, as well as the Amick family who put together this entire squad. The 50 Dodge Viper only half a lap away from a checkered flag here in Phoenix today.
A little bit of a slide there. It's getting greasier and greasier, but Joe knows how to slide a car and not use it up.
This is the biggest gap we've seen a leader here at Phoenix have all day long as Joe Varde begins to think about braking. Only then, coming out of the turn 3 area, is the second place Corvette of Stu Hainer. The 37 vet is going to finish in second spot, and there's nobody going to touch Joe Varde today as he's back up in the banking. Another turn, and he is home.
Yeah, the last time through NASCAR 3 and 4, as we look down the front straightaway, white flag is waving for the checker. Nobody behind him, and Joe Varde takes a second win in a row, the Dodge Viper.
Stu Hainer comes around the corner and takes the checkered flag in the Corvette for second place today. David Amick and Joe Varde, the winners today in the Dodge Viper. In Grand Sport class, we had David Brown and John Schreiner's number 74 Zippo Ford Mustang take the checkered flag first. In the other classes, coming down the start-finish line, riding along with Gord Cullen in the number 8 Hyundai Tiburon. And finally, in Sport Touring, it was Mike Keravich and Steve Colletti's 24 Acura today. We'll be back to talk with our Motorola StarTAC stars of the race in just a moment.
Got you this time. 2 out of 3. Okay, you ready? Sure. Okay. 1, 2, 3, send. Oh. Rock, beat, scissors. Back seat. Watch your head.
Ah, funny. Ow. Come on, move over.
Sundays mean adventure on OLN. Wild Survival with Corbin Burnson brings you true tales of terrifying ordeals in the outdoors. A forest fire forces a hiker into a race for his life. A climber careens down a mountain. And a teenager confronts a swimmer's ultimate nightmare. Find out how the will to live can make heroes out of everyday people. Wild Survival with Corbin Burnson on Adventure Sundays, 8 p.m. only on the Outdoor Life Network.
Joe Varde and David Amick, along with all of our Motorola StarTAC stars of the race, give credit to their crews for the success today.
Our team did a great job. That was the fastest stop we've ever had. Everything just went like clockwork. We were just lucky. We were really lucky. But you know what they say, we'd rather be lucky than good.
We had the most unbelievable pit stop. It was just like boom, boom, boom. We were going and out, and oh, God. The Zippo Mustang team, they are a great bunch of guys. They do great work. The car was beautiful.
We're happy. I mean, like I said, Hyundai, we're due. We have a good car, a good team, and everything. We hadn't won in a while, so I'm really happy that we could do it for our sponsors.
And the real heroes on the Amick Varde team are the Grant Wish kids.
And now our NEWTECH final results in Super Grand Sports. Amick and Varde in the Viper. It was Heinrichs and Hainer in the Corvette, and another vet for Goad and Powell.
In Grand Sports, it's a Cobra R Mustang up front. Brown and Schreiner over John Bourassa, Lance Stewart in the Audi, and the Schraenen father-son team in the Firebird.
An Acura sweep of Sport Touring today. Keravich and Colletti in the first one. Moser and Van Sicklen in the second. Linder and Rocca in the third.
In C2K, it's a great day for Hyundai as Cullen and Craig win it. Johnson Halsber slide into second in the Honda, and it's the Hebert Schraenen Hyundai for third.
Our NEWTECH Top Gun Award for fastest race lap goes to Joe Varde's Viper. 82.117 miles an hour on lap 111. Real quick speed around the tight circuit. And our Derringer Forward Motion Award for the car that gained the most spots during the race goes to the Valentinetti and Brown number 14 Porsche, which gained 33 positions. Our next Motorola Cup race will be from Homestead Miami Speedway. For Terry Earwood, I'm Jim Martin saying so long from Phoenix International Raceway. The Motorola Cup has been brought to you by Motorola, web without wires. By Castrol, track proven performance. And by NEWTECH Group International.